Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Lords of the Night. With me, as always, is the Lord of Pain, Ranting Monkey.
Hello.
And the Lord of Pennies, Satsu 2 cents, will be joining us momentarily, we think, shortly, thereabouts. And I'm your host, Scribe, the Lord of Punishment. Hello, chat. Hello, everyone. Hope everyone is having a good Tuesday and have a good week ahead of you. I usually say something here, but I don't have anything to say. So, Monkey, how are you?
Not too bad. Got a good sleep in today, so things and bangs are still there, but I'm a happy monkey. So, how are you doing, Scribe?
It was okay today. It was a little quiet. I was kind of productive, but I don't know. I feel kind of blah. Otherwise, I don't know if it's just the weather or the news of the day or something. I don't know. But hey, Monkey, check out your playing card I made for you on the theme thingy.
Oh, hang on. Let me bring it up here.
Yeah, I put way too much time into these things. Jesus, I got the idea in my head and I couldn't get it out. I was like, oh my god, I gotta do this. I did this thing. I can explain the context to you if it's all of a curiosity. But yeah, so but yeah, my day was all right. But we have a wonderful show ahead of us. We have weather and politics and construction and politicians sniping at each other, and not in the gun sense, but sort of in the verbal sense, and all types of stuff ahead of us. But before we get into that, Monkey Dick, Jim Jones, movies. Hit that like button if you have not already, and about 2/3 of you haven't. That seems to be the constant whenever the show starts. Like 2/3 of the people here don't actually like the show yet. So I don't know. I don't know what you're expecting. More or less? Or something else is going to happen? I mean, if you're here, I presume you know the show is something you like, so I don't know. And share our stuff. Share it far, wide, and sideways, because YouTube sure ain't. Just ask Sinatra about YouTube's assistance in helping out channels, even channels that have relatively large subscriber counts. But other than that, anything else to talk about before we get into the schnews?
Apparently there's a birthday.
Well, whose birthday's that?
Yodeling.
Yodeling?
Somebody in chat just said happy birthday, Yodeling, but I don't see Yodeling. Oh, there, Yodeling Monster. Yesterday was my birthday, but I was traveling, so I was unable to listen. Any chance of getting a song a day late? Indeed, Yodeling Monster. Indeed. Because that's what we do here. We like to sing. Well, I like to sing, and Scribe seems to like to sing, and
Sometimes.
Satsu moans about it. So, Yodeling Monster, I hope you had a great birthday. And if not, hopefully this makes it better. And a 1 and a 2. Happy birthday to yesterday. What up, though? Happy birthday to you yesterday. What up, though? Happy birthday to Yodeling Monster yesterday. What up, though? Happy birthday to you yesterday. Yodeling, I hope you had a great birthday. I really do. And I hope that made it a little bit better.
One can only hope.
What?
Let's see. Well, into the wonderful world of the schneuz. So, how about some Hurricane Dorian updates? Or Dorain. Or Durain, depending on who's talking. Yeah, it's not good news. Let's put it that way. The current situation out of the Bahamas is at least 7 people are killed in the Bahamas by the hurricane. The death toll from Hurricane Dorian in the Bahamas is now at least 7, Bahamas Prime Minister Hubert Minnis said on Tuesday, speaking to reporters at the National Emergency Management Agency headquarters in Nassau. Minnis said the victims died in Abaco. Minnis also noted that at least 25 others were wounded. South Carolina officials say residents must leave now. The South Carolina Emergency Management Division has tweeted out an alert urging residents in the evacuated zones to leave immediately. Officials say residents should evacuate no later than Wednesday morning to reach a, quote, safe distance from Hurricane Dorian. There's a long list of, like, zones and areas that should be evacuated. Yeah, so if you're in North Carolina, in South Carolina, if you're in South Carolina, pay attention to your radio and get to high ground. Thank you, Sir Wolfgang. 11 out of 10 on the Satsu impression.
Thanks.
Wow, that's a low bar. What else? Let's see. Interesting. The Walt Disney Company will donate $1 million to relief and recovery efforts for the Bahamas. I wonder if that's to make up for the rumors that they wouldn't let their employees evacuate.
Right.
The Walt Disney Company plans to donate $1 million in cash and in-kind support to help and recovery efforts in the Bahamas in the wake of Hurricane Dorian. Disney said the donation will help nonprofit relief agencies and also include food supplies and basic construction materials. What else we got? We got about 244,000 people have already fled South Carolina coastal towns. And the outer band of Dorian looms over St. Augustine Beach, Florida. Catherine Toker and her two sons were feeling restless, and they decided to go look at the surf at St. Augustine Beach, Florida. When they arrived, they quickly spotted a sinister sight over the ocean on Tuesday afternoon and captured a photo. The image shows an outer band of Hurricane Dorian, according to CNN meteorologist Judson Jones. And yeah, it's a pretty ominous and foreboding sight. I'll put the link in the chat. You have to scroll down a bit to reach it, but picture is there.
Look, as bad as this hurricane is, or was, because it's coming down a bit. It sat over the Bahamas at a Category 5 and then a 4 for a while, and it just fucking sat there.
Yeah.
Only 7 dead. I mean, I'm not happy 7 people died. I'm happy it's only 7 though.
So far, out of all
so
that,
that
could have happened. Given the destruction that happened to that part of the Bahamas, 7 is kind of a miracle.
It is, and it's a testament to them, buckling down and getting ready for it. But Jesus fuck, man, that thing again. If I believed in like Mother Earth and Gaia, I would think, damn, Mother Earth was pissed at the Bahamas. Because you just don't see stuff like that. A storm sitting basically still for 2 fucking days.
Yeah.
And just dumping water on everything.
Doesn't matter how much you prepare for something. You're not gonna. Yeah, that's just crazy.
And that's why it's so amazing. So that I mean, yeah, the death toll could rise. I mean, it could end up if it ended up in the 50s, I wouldn't be surprised. But at this point, for them to only have 7 confirmed, that's pretty fucking amazing.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's see. On to how about our favorite friend at CNN, Chris Cillizza?
Please.
We haven't done a Chris Cillizza in a while. Let's see. So Chris Cillizza wants us to know that Joe Biden's campaign is already making Iowa excuses.
Uh-oh.
Former Vice
Biden?
Biden, yes. Former Vice President Joe Biden is the frontrunner to be the 2020 Democratic presidential nominee, which is why his campaign's purposeful lowering of expectations on Tuesday won't work. Quote, "Do we think we have to win in Iowa? No," said one Biden campaign aide, speaking to reporters. Quote, "Do we want to win in Iowa? Yes, we do. We think we're going to win. We know it's going to be a dogfight. The same thing is true in New Hampshire," unquote. And then Chris continues, well, no. Here's the thing. When you're the front runner, you are expected to win. Everywhere. Chris, everywhere is one word, not two. Just so you know. Otherwise, you aren't the front runner anymore. That's how it works. Remember back in 2008, when Rudy Giuliani, who polling suggested was the front runner for the nomination, based his entire campaign strategy on skipping Iowa in order to definitely win in New Hampshire, and how when New Hampshire started to go south on Giuliani, how Florida became the new New Hampshire for him, and how Giuliani never won a single primary or caucus and, relatedly, didn't get elected president. Right. There is simply almost no evidence in modern political history of a frontrunner losing Iowa and New Hampshire and coming back to win the nomination. That's not to say I don't get Biden's logic. His strength is among black voters. Is it? Okay. And until South
It is, yeah.
Okay, and until the South Carolina primary, African American voters don't comprise any significant block of votes. Oh, okay. The theory is that no matter what happens in Iowa and New Hampshire, black voters are going to go to bat for Biden, so he's not going to bet the farm on Iowa or New Hampshire. But if you're not going to become president without Iowa and New Hampshire. Anyway, Biden said as much in a swing through South Carolina last week. Quote, I hope that whatever Iowa would bring, what we've done here would strengthen the prospect that we can continue to win here, unquote. That makes sense in theory, but in reality, if Biden loses Iowa and New Hampshire, he is almost certainly cooked. Imagine if, say, California Senator Kamala Harris won the Iowa caucuses and Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren won in New Hampshire. Would black voters stick by Biden if someone else suddenly looked like a potential nominee? What about if Warren sweeps both early states? Is there any chance that Biden stops her in South Carolina? Hard to see. Biden enjoys lots of advantages for being the front runner in this race. Money, polls, debate placement, media attention. But being the front runner is not without drawbacks, one of which is you don't get to make excuses if and when you lose. I completely agree with Chris. If you don't win Iowa and New Hampshire, you completely lose momentum to pick up as much as you would have if everything started in South Carolina.
Well, no, there's a difference because he compared it to Giuliani, and he's kind of right to do so in that, yeah, that was Giuliani. Giuliani was like, look, I don't really even have to run, is basically what he said. So you don't see him polling. If I remember, was he even in the top 4 in Iowa? I can't remember.
I don't know.
But it didn't seem like he was even in the race until later. And by the time he goes, wait, guys, no, I really am running. They're like, nobody cares. I mean, we're past you, man.
Mm-hmm.
It is theoretically possible. It's actually very possible to lose both Iowa and New Hampshire and still win the nomination. It's one of those things like when they at the end of the 2016 race, when all the polls were coming in, they're like, look, Hillary could theoretically still win. I mean, yeah, it's still possible. It's just not likely. But what Biden could do, he could come in second in both of those and still be fine. If he came in second, he would still be high enough up there that he is the one. Especially if the number 1 was 2 different people, if it was, say, Warren in one and Harris in the other, and he was number 2 in both.
Yeah.
But that is not the message they should be sending out there, is that we don't need Iowa, because that's going to make Iowans go, oh, really, motherfucker?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And that's where his mistake is here. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not... I'm... Even if I keep seeing Biden, or the way that Biden's heading, into a John Kerry. Like by everything on paper, he's a good candidate, but he just has no momentum and no excitement.
I wonder why Biden's running. I really do, because he doesn't seem like he really cares, to be honest.
Well, that's the other thing.
Maybe
that's the other thing. He doesn't seem like he's all there. I mean, mentally, that's a whole different question. But yeah, is he actually excited to do this, or does he feel some kind of obligation because it's Trump?
To me, it really feels like he just feels not even just because it's Trump, because there was no. I know Bernie Sanders is known, but there's no what's the word I'm looking for? Party established candidate that was running.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You always have somebody. Even Kerry was a party establishment candidate. You always have somebody like that. You had Clinton and Gore and all these people. The last one who wasn't was fucking Clinton, for fuck's sake. Yeah. Even by the time Obama came up, he was the heir apparent. There was none of that in there. You had all of these no-name senators for political purposes. Those of us who follow politics, we know Harris, we know Booker, but the most of the country don't know who the fuck Kamala Harris is.
Yeah.
So you needed somebody with a name recognition kind of thing, and I don't know. He just doesn't seem like he didn't come out like, yeah, we're gonna go run. He came out like, hey, I'll run. Sure, I'll do it.
Yeah.
And he seems like a tired old man now, man. Jesus Christ.
Well, and his gaffes certainly aren't helping anything because God knows, guy. Let's see. There's something. What was wrong with my? Some kind of glitch in my ticker thing.
Oh,
What?
real quick, I just saw this headline. Most accurate poll of 2016 says Biden now lead among Democrats is 12%. The most accurate poll of 2016. Is that really something you want to hang your hat on?
Yeah, because Jesus Christ. Yeah, I don't know, man.
It's 2016.
I don't think. I almost don't think Biden makes the nomination at this point. I don't know if he's got enough enthusiasm behind him to actually make people want to vote for him. But then after him, I don't know who's left except maybe Warren and Sanders is between those two. Because, like you say, they're the only two with any kind of name recognition. And Warren only kind of. Bernie's got net recognition because of the last election. Biden's got name recognition because he was vice president. Warren might be more familiar to those who've been paying attention for a little while because she was a big deal back in the Tea Party days. But since then, thank you, Point Curation. Rap Rock My Boss. Rap Rock My Boss? Oh, yeah, the when Biden screwed up, couldn't remember Barack Obama's name. You see that one? Yeah, that was great. And thank you,
yes.
Thank you, Ragnat Ulfbert. I got ad for Pokemon. Did the stream get claimed?
No.
What?
We haven't even talked about Pokemon.
Pokemon. No, this is I claim the stream for Netrunner.
There you go.
There you go.
No, they probably saw the cards and they're like, "Oh, that must be like Pokemon." And
no, it's not like Pokemon. I mean, it's a card game, but it's not like Pokemon. But yeah, I made Monkey part of the Anarch faction because he's kind of a ranting, angry person in some ways. I made Satsu a shaper because he likes to cook and that kind of stuff. I thought that was kind of appropriate for that. And the only faction left on the runner side for me was criminal. And, you know, I've stolen a heart or two in my day or something. That's how I justify those things. And then, if you know the mechanics of the game, I gave each of them, or each of us, I should say, a ability that kind of fits with our personality. And if you watch the ticker, there's some explanations for those. If you care, if you're a super duper card nerd or know anything about that game, a game that is now out of print but has still a worldwide fucking following, because there's a whole weird drama behind this game and what happened to it and everything else, but I could get into that later if you guys care. Probably don't. That's okay. Speaking of things that maybe people don't or do not care about right now, but the Pentagon, this was breaking news on CNN earlier, the Pentagon diverts $3.6 billion in military construction funds to build Trump's border wall, which I still think is stupid and run around Congress, but apparently legal thus far. Secretary of Defense Mark Esper. Is that our Secretary of Defense?
Sure.
For this week. Has authorized the diverting of $3.6 billion in military construction funds for 11 wall projects on the southern border with Mexico, according to defense officials and a letter from Esper to the Senate Armed Services Committee, which has been obtained by CNN. In his letter, Esper told Congress he has, quote, determined that 11 military construction projects along the international border with Mexico, with an estimated total cost of $3.6 billion, are necessary to support the use of the armed forces in connection with the national emergency, unquote. The letter does not include the word wall, as is typical in Defense Department announcements of this kind, but details how the funds will be used for new fencing projects at various border locations. The announcement fulfills a promise made by President Donald Trump in February to tap military construction funds to build his border wall. The move was slammed by Congress when it was first announced and only recently completed a Pentagon legal review. On Tuesday, Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer calls the decision a slap in the face to service members. Quote, this decision will harm already planned important projects intended to support our service members at military installations in New York, across the United States, and around the world, Schumer wrote in a statement. Quote, it is a slap in the face to the members of the armed forces who serve our country that President Trump is willing to cannibalize already allocated military funding to boost his own ego, and for a while he promised Mexico would pay to build, unquote. Schumer said that the lost funding would...
I just like, but he didn't say anywhere in there, and that a lot of Americans still want.
That's not pertinent, monkey.
I know. And look, Schumer's not wrong about anything he said there.
No.
But you should also throw it, and the people want. I mean, it was Trump's major platform. We will build this wall.
Yes.
And I get why he didn't do it, but it just makes me laugh. I'm sorry, Jules.
That's fine. Let's see. Senator Jack Reed, the top Democrat on the Senate Armed Services Committee, also condemned the move. Quote, President Trump's immigration efforts have failed since day one. Today, he made it clear he is willing to take funds from our troops and disaster victims and divert them to try to protect his political right flank. And ultimately, that could put Americans at risk, he said in a statement. Quote, this isn't just an attempt to shift funding, it's a bid to shift power away from Congress to the president. That part I don't disagree with, all things considered. I understand the whole military diversion of funds is legal and all, but this is only happening because he's doing an end run around Congress approving funding.
Sure, but is it really any different than when a president will go, I'm not signing a budget unless you give me what I want? Obama, excuse me, the funding I want for things?
Two wrongs don't make a right.
I agree.
I'm not saying Obama was somehow right because Trump is I don't know.
Look, it's as long as it's legal, I have no problem with them doing it. If you don't like the system, guys, change the system. And I'm not saying it's you, Scribe. I'm talking about to this congressman. Right. Change the system, dude.
Right.
That's your right. That's actually part of your fucking job.
But yeah, so
you know what a job is, right?
Well, not if you're a career politician.
I know.
I hate that phrase, career politician. Should be something, in the olden days, you'd go serve as a politician for a little while, then go back home and work the farm, and just to go back to your regular life.
Again, we've talked about that. Hi, Satsu.
Hello. I creeped in.
Welcome aboard. I was you earlier.
Yeah, he was.
Awesome.
There was a
How'd it feel?
There was a birthday, and he did your inserts.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I gotta kill you now, but thanks.
I know. It was worth it. I got to be Satsu for 3 seconds of my life.
Did you lose your balance?
A little bit.
Check out the theme, Satsu.
I'm checking it out now. That's pretty cool.
Made you a card. Let's see.
Stepped on my big ass joke, man.
Your big ass joke? Oh, okay. Well, I'll step back. Go ahead.
I just said when I was Satsu, I was a little bit bottom heavy. That's all. Satsu got that juicy ass, man. I don't. I got a white boy ass. Anyhow.
It's a curse.
Anyhow.
Yes, I disrupted you for that, Scribe.
Well, you don't need much of an excuse to disrupt me, do you?
I know, but that's probably the saddest one ever. To make an ass joke. I apologize.
I don't know. There's some curiosity, Satsu. Why were you late? If you care to say, you don't have to.
A friend of mine offered to take me to the grocery store, and because going by myself is a pain, I took advantage of that. Took a little longer than expected because I still had to cook for Squishy when I got home, and then I had to clean all of Squeetus's bottles and sanitize them before I forgot because she asked me to do that. So once I got all that done, I popped in.
Good dad.
Cool beans. So the last one I've got, I saw the headline and I thought this might be some kind of entertainment. Chicago Mayor to Ted Cruz over city shootings, quote, keep our name out of your mouth, unquote.
Oh, fuck.
Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot ripped Texas Senator Ted Cruz over his opposition to gun legislation reform after he claimed such laws don't work, pointing to gun violence in Chicago. Lightfoot, a Democrat, claimed in a tweet that 60% of illegal firearms recovered in Chicago come from outside of Illinois. Quote, mostly from states dominated by coward Republicans like you who refuse to enact common sense gun legislation. And Lady Common Sense is 2 words, not 1. Unless that was CNN's mistake. Quote, since they didn't put a SIC in parentheses there, I'm assuming it's CNN's mistake.
Indeed.
Quote, "Keep our name out of your mouth," Lightfoot wrote in a message directed at the Republican senator. The mayor's tweet includes a graph from the 2017 Gun Trace Report, which was put out by the City of Chicago and the Chicago Police Department, showing the majority of illegally used or possessed firearms recovered in Chicago are from states with less firearms regulations, like Indiana and Mississippi. According to the report, 60% of firearms come from out of state, with Indiana as the primary source for approximately 1 out of every 5 crime guns. Lightfoot was responding to a tweet by Cruz, who has been a longtime opponent of stricter gun laws, in which he pointed to Chicago and claimed, quote, "gun control doesn't work." Quote, "Disarming law-abiding citizens isn't the answer," he wrote. "Stopping violent criminals, prosecuting and getting them off the street before they commit more violent crimes is the most effective way to reduce murder rates." His tweet was responding to a report about recent gun violence in Chicago. CNN has reached out to Cruz's office for comment.
Can you go back? Did you say 1 in 5?
Uh,
How many crimes were committed with guns from out of state?
oh,
The graph.
I think they
the,
say 60%.
the mayor's tweet includes a graph from the 2017 Gun Trace Report, which was put out by the City of Chicago, showing the majority of illegally used or possessed firearms recovered in Chicago are from states with less firearms regulations. According to the report, 60% of firearms come from out of state, with Indiana as the primary source for approximately 1 out of every 5 crime guns.
Okay. So of that 60%, 20% came from Indiana. Got it.
Yeah, sure. So there you go. Oh, thank you, Sanguine. Politicians are just legal grifters. They, as a whole, don't want to fix anything because if they did, they wouldn't be able to use it as an excuse to covetously hoard over more power and money. There is that too. I got to keep you needing me to fix the problems that I'm going to stretch out, I suppose. You always hope that people don't actually cultivate problems to remain in a place to fix them, but that's sometimes the case. Thank you, Snubber. Someone once told and shown literal evidence to a Wisconsin politician of guns getting into Chicago. He mocked them as alt-righters, but Republicans.
Well, the thing that confuses me, though, is the argument was whether or not gun reform or whatever works. And he's like, well, 60% of the guns that come in here are from out of state. I'm like, that should be 100. If gun reform works, it should be 100%. There shouldn't be a percent if it works. Like, if it works, 100% of all the illegal guns or any guns that people shouldn't have that show up in Chicago, it should be 100% out of state because your gun reform works. But it doesn't because there's a percentage still there. Like, okay, that's what I'm confused about. I'm like, were they making a point? Because I don't think they made the point they think they made.
Yeah.
Well, in 2018, there were 516 gun-related murders in Chicago. So that's still, what, 220 that were from guns legally obtained, or at least obtained in Illinois. Where's what happened? Those shouldn't. Those 200 murders shouldn't have existed. Huh. Huh. It's almost like it doesn't work. I have more of this when it gets to fucketry, though. So
I figured you would.
I've been in a few arguments today.
So you mentioned, but with that, we'll go on to MSS News Time, guys. If you have news stories you'd like us to read on the air, please send them to us via Twitter using the hashtag MSSNews. Can't promise to get to them all, but that's because we can be long-winded. And that's true. Thank you, Sanguine. Al Sharpton is a thing, so you know people make issues to fix. Yeah, Al Sharpton. I mean, you're talking about a guy who has survived on a grift his entire career.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see. So I imagine this is something that Monkey would want to rant about later. Monkey, do you know about the myth of the free speech crisis from The Guardian?
Yeah, I'm actually. It's not part of my rant later. So if you wanted to talk about it now, we can.
That sounded a little hesitant.
Well, I am going to rant about it later on Monkey in the Morning because this is going to be a long fucking rant from me.
Okay. Well, would you?
But we can address it.
Do you want to let off some steam now or save it all for
Sure.
the show? Okay.
Let's let off a little steam here.
All right. This one comes from Frosted Glass. And it's called The Myth of the Free Speech Crisis. And this is by... Who is this by? Nezreen Malik.
By the way, her last article she wrote for them was, in order to win the 2020 election, Democrats have to get dirty.
Uh-huh. How overblown fears of censorship have normalized hate speech and silenced minorities. Okay.
Yep.
When I started writing a column in The Guardian, I would engage with the commentators who made valid points and urge those whose response was getting lost in rage to reread the piece and return. Comments were open for 72 hours. Coming up for air at the end of a thread felt like mooring a ship after a few days on choppy waters, like an achievement, something that I and the readers had gone through together. And now my phone is beeping at me, as per usual. Find out if I'm staying or if I'm having to go. And I am staying. Good. We had discussed sensitive, complicated ideas about politics, race, gender, and sexuality, and at the end, via a rolling conversation, we had got somewhere. In the decade since, the tenor of those comments became so personalized and abusive that the ship often drowned before making it to shore. Ships don't drown. But that's just, I'm being a nitpicker. What can I say?
Super chat there, too.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Snubbirth. Also, let's not mention the Chicago commander that got killed by a gun not allowed to purchase guns from a gun purchased in Wisconsin. Or from a guy not allowed to purchase a gun. Yeah, well, I mean, that just happened in Texas, where, the guy who shot up all the people after going to work and getting all angry, he had been denied the purchase of a gun due to a background check. And yet, he got a hold of an assault rifle or whatever. So... like I say, you can put out all the laws in the world, and maybe they'll stop some people for a little while, but if somebody's intent on hurting other people, they will find a way. And the world is so full of guns that it is practically impossible for someone determined to do so not to end up possessing a gun, at least long enough for them to do some damage. So, like I say, I'm not saying don't do anything. I'm just saying that setting all these expectations of a cure on more or evolved legislation is not going to answer the problem. Not that I know what the answer to the problem is, because it's mostly psychological, but anyway.
Real quick in the chat, Reno says, my favorite thing about The Guardian is their disclaimer at the bottom of their article stating they're free from political bias. I know, right?
All right. Let's see. In time, it dawned on me that my writing was the same. It was the commenters who had changed. It was becoming harder to discuss almost anything without a virtual snarl in response, and it was becoming harder to do so if one were not white or male.
Yeah. Bitch actually said that.
Well, setting aside the sexist, racist thing for a second, does our writer understand that those are just words on the screen?
They could use a nom de plume.
They could use a nom de plume, or they could just ignore it. I mean...
Well, there's that, but to her argument, that it's only half... Oh, you said putting aside that. No, you're right. It is just things on the screen that she could ignore, and she does kind of get to that.
Okay, well...
But my point being that, if it's sexist and racist that she's worried about, call yourself Michael Smith. Or
right.
what's a good white name?
What's a good white name?
Michael Ginsburg.
Roland Bowden.
Yeah, look, they give me all kinds of shit if I'm not a white man. Well, make yourself a white man. Nobody can see you.
Of course, there was that time that that comic book editor or whatever wrote a book or wrote a story or something using an Asian nom de plume, and then it was found out that he used it, and now he's a racist or something.
Well, sure, but to prove her point, that would be how you do it. And I don't think, anyhow.
I'll tell you what, that article goes on for a long time. So, guys, if you want to see a far more in-depth and angry dissection of this article, if you want to see a more stupid and in-depth dissection of the article than watch monkeys show in the morning?
I'm going to have a good time with this. It's not going to be.
And it's going to be stupid.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Even talking about this is stupid because what this woman is talking about is absolutely asinine. Her whole argument here is that people are upset that that they're not allowed to be abusive, and that's not really free speech.
Right. Okay. Has this lady ever complained about or criticized somebody else by any chance? Thank you, Cryptic. I have an assault whisk going to beat my eggs.
I'm calling the police.
Is that like a euphemism for female masturbation? Okay, moving on. This one comes from Jim Heelis.
Before you move on.
Oh.
Just before you, I want to point out, she doesn't take any article or any of the times, people are silenced just because they disagreed and they suddenly get. We just had the MythCon. What was it this year? It wasn't MythCon anymore. It was Minds IRL. There's a great article about how the people who held the after party for this were just absolutely eviscerated in the public for being Nazis, even though the woman is actually the woman involved in it is really fucking liberal. No mention of that kind of shit. No, that shit doesn't exist. So ignore that. Shh, just let it happen. So yeah, it's gonna be stupid tonight, guys, and I hope you tune in to listen to it because
okay,
monkey gonna rant.
Okay, are you done?
I told you not to start this shit.
Are you done?
Yes.
This one comes from Jim Heelis. Man ordered to pay support to wife indicted on bigamy charges. Montgomery County, Texas. Mark Athens of Willis in Montgomery County said 2 months of marriage to a woman who may have been married to one and possibly two other men at the same time she was married to him may end up costing him his career and life savings. Athens says Montgomery County Judge Patrice McDonald has ordered him to pay Charity Lene Parcham $96,000 in support and lawyer fees Tuesday morning or face the possibility of jail. A court document obtained by KPRC2 does in fact show that Parcham was indicted this past April on bigamy charges, showing she was legally married to a man named Trevor Hendry, but Montgomery County Judge McDonald would not allow the bigamy indictment be brought up in the divorce proceedings. Athens and Parcham were married in August 2017 and divorced in October 2017. That was quick. Quote, "It was just a lot of deception that was not making sense to me," Athens said. "As a reasonable human being, she planned all this. I was a mark. She lied and deceived all of us. She has lied and deceived other people, and she keeps winning. But the thing that worries us is she's hurting all of us. She's hurting you. She's hurting our family. What did we do to deserve that?" Unquote. KPRC2 reached out to McDonald's office and was told she will not be commenting as this is an ongoing case. Okay.
Okay, wait. You can't bring up bigamy. Was it a conviction or just a charge?
She's been indicted.
Okay. You can't bring up the bigamy indictment during a divorce proceeding. I feel like that's pertinent information.
Mm-hmm. That would kind of make the first marriage invalid, the second marriage invalid, wouldn't it?
Indeed.
Which means that he doesn't owe her shit, you'd think. This guy's going to appeal this all the way if he actually ends up having to pay her. That's bullshit.
Jesus Christ, what a world.
Let's see. This one comes from Quinn Harrison. Russian blogger jailed for 5 years over snuff movie threat tweet. Okay. A Russian blogger who posted a tweet that said the children of police could be targeted in snuff videos, has been sentenced to 5 years in jail as 3 more Kremlin critics were charged with organizing an illegal protest. Sorry, these two things, I don't understand how they're connected. The tough sentence for blogger Vladislav Sinitsa came amid a flurry of legal moves in response to political protests over upcoming Moscow City Council elections. Okay. More than a dozen people have been charged with rioting and attacking police officers in a sprawling investigation that has been dubbed the Moscow case. How original. And is seen as an attempt to dissuade further protests. Oh, okay. On Tuesday, a court sentenced Ivan Podkopev, a 25-year-old technician, to 3 years in prison after he pleaded guilty to using pepper spray against police officers during a protest on July 27th. Also on Tuesday, investigators dropped charges against 5 of the 14 suspects in the case. This is confusing and complicated.
Sounds like a Russian conspiracy to me.
Yeah. Yeah, here's some advice, guys. Never get arrested in Russia. Also, never get arrested in Brazil. I just watched this documentary on Netflix about this story out of Brazil where this reality show or news show guy was charged or accused of creating the news that he was reporting on by effectively running a crime syndicate.
Mm-hmm.
And it is such a railroad fucked up legal system in Brazil. Yeah, don't get arrested in Brazil. Don't get arrested in Russia. Just moving on. What's this? This one comes from Massive Dynamics. Sure, why not? Miniature horse spotted by amused passenger on American Airlines flight.
What? They put a horse on a fucking plane?
A passenger on an airplane saw something that made him stop and say, "Hey." Cryptic, did you write this story? Evan Nowak said he noticed an unusual traveler while flying on an American Airlines flight from Chicago to Omaha. Apparently, another passenger brought a miniature horse on the plane, likely as a service animal. Well, at least the passenger wasn't forced to flush the horse before getting on the plane.
No shit.
Pebbles!
You're too good for this world.
Nowak posted the footage to Twitter, which showed the animal calmly sitting near the front of the plane. Fortunately, the miniature horse had been given an aisle seat, as it likely was too big for a middle seat and wouldn't be able to appreciate the views from the window seat anyway. Obviously amused, Nowak posted the footage with the caption, "At this time, we would like to begin boarding with any active duty military, families traveling with children under the age of 3, and horses." According to the American Airlines website, trained miniature horses are permitted on flights as service animals. All right, well, I'll keep that in mind, though I don't own a miniature service animal horse. And thank you, Cryptic, for before. Of course, it's a female judge. Yeah, when I heard Patrice, I first thought of Patrice O'Neill, and I was like, Patrice can be a male or a female. But yeah. Either way, though, if you find out your wife is already married to some guy and has been, I think that kind of invalidates your marriage to begin with. I just think that's the... or, if nothing else, given the indictment against the wife, you would think that the divorce proceedings would at least be put on hold until after that can be resolved, because if she is guilty of that, then that invalidates the second marriage and he's off the hook. That's how I would see it, but I don't...
You would think.
I don't know what the laws are there, so... Hell if I know. This one comes from senior staff reporter and chief Florida correspondent, Colleen Bernier. Okay. Bang Bros buys porn doxing site, torches hard drives in the site's first safe for work video. That's hilarious. Bang Bros has emerged as the folk hero of the porn industry with its most recent acquisition, Porn WikiLeaks. The adult-themed production company bought out the doxing site, which housed over 15,000 porn stars' personal information, according to Mashable. I'd never even heard of it. What did they do with all of that information? Well, these producers of not safe for work content made it clear with a very safe for work video of them setting fire to the servers holding all of that explicit information. That's both figuratively and literally, because they actually took gasoline and a lighter and scorched the shit out of existence.
Damn.
Bang Bros now owns the domain for the site, which exists solely now to host a statement from the company. Quote, "We simply didn't want it out there for the world to see anymore. they write about the personal info of the adult film performers. Quote, while shutting this site down doesn't purge the internet of all possible ties to real names and whatnot, it does make it one less place to harbor and find these things easily. A forum that had 300,000 posts on it, most of them negative and hate-filled, has now disappeared. I wonder how much they paid for it. I wonder how much they paid for it. Oh well, good for them.
Yeah, good shit.
Who are the Bang Bros?
Bang Bros is it's a porn. It's like Brazzers.
I'm kidding. I read about them in the Christian Science Monitor.
You weren't asking me a serious question, were you?
I might not have been.
Why do you hurt me so?
It's fun for me.
I made you a card. Did you see what the little subtitle I gave you on the card?
I did. Well, which one? Because I saw it. Isn't there two? There's two little things in there.
Well,
there's one up at the top.
There's your name, and then there's your little description thing.
Yeah, there were two that I actually noticed. And I was like, "Oh, hang on, let me go look again."
Yeah, I mean, geez, pay attention.
Man, this new homepage on YouTube is fucking with me, man.
I haven't seen the new homepage. Weird for me.
Hang, got to sit through an ad. Damn it! There we go.
Well, I did put ads on there.
Oh, yeah, the beautiful cripple. And then at the bottom, I really appreciated that you put your life makes me sad there.
Yeah, well, that's the format of the card. You have the character. You've got some little thing that sort of describes their place in the world or something about them. And at the very bottom, you get a quote from that person that kind of gives some flavor to character context of the game. They gave us each our little cat. I didn't know if Satsu has a catchphrase, but that's the one that I know from this show all the time.
It works.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is there one? Is there one that I should have put in there?
No, that's fine.
Okay. This one comes from Pink Hollow, the driving ape man. Customer pulls gun on Popeye's employee over chicken sandwiches.
Squishy was telling me about this.
Police in Houston. Boy, Texas is just having a time of it lately, isn't it? Police in Houston are reportedly searching for a man who pulled a gun on employees at a Popeyes restaurant after they ran out of chicken sandwiches. On Monday night, the Houston Police Department published a tweet regarding an incident at the Popeyes, which has surged in popularity since the introduction of its first nationwide chicken sandwich last month. I'm still amazed that Popeyes never had a chicken sandwich up to this point.
Yeah, it is kind of shocking, actually.
I know. Granted, I have been to a Popeyes once in my life. Not that I go to any chicken places all that often anyway. But the one time I went to Popeyes, I thought, if you're a chicken place, chicken sandwiches just seem natural, just reflexive thing you do. Doesn't even Kentucky Fried Chicken has had chicken sandwiches forever, haven't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you also got to remember we live in a world that chicken sandwiches became a thing because of burger restaurants.
Yeah, that's true. Let's see. Police say in the tweet, a man pulled a gun on employees after learning they had no more sandwiches. According to local station KTRK, a group of people attempted to get inside the store after they were told the bad news about the sandwiches at the drive-thru. What did you think was going to happen? Like, they're lying to you? They don't want to take your money? So you're going to storm the restaurant and what? Quote, it was more of an aggravated assault because he was displaying a weapon and threatened employees, Houston Police Lieutenant Larry Croson told KTRK. No one was injured during the incident. Witnesses say the group left the Popeyes in a blue SUV. Anyone with information is asked to contact police. But yeah, they sold out of sandwiches. Oh my God. Have to run down to Kentucky Fried Chicken down the street and buy some chicken.
Look, I know when you want your favorite fast food, it can be disappointing when they don't have it. But this ain't the way, yo.
This is not the way, brother.
Do you know the way? Man, that meme disappeared, didn't it? You don't hear that?
It was so fun, though.
You don't hear that anymore. It'll make a comeback at some point. Let's see. Are you kidding me? Okay, this one comes from Desert Tramp. I'm always wary of stories like this because they sound a bit too good to be true in the shocking realm of things. But Let's see, does it let me actually read the whole story, or do I have to go through some kind of crazy subscription thing? Apparently I'm allowed to read the story. Okay. This man wanted his Sorry. Wait, what? Oh, okay, I misread that. This man wanted his father to check his fiance's hymen before their wedding.
Are they Muslim?
It's a horror story straight from the Middle Ages. A young woman came onto the Reddit sub-relationship advice. Wait, what? Sub-R relationship advice. I don't know how Reddit works, even after all this time. After her fiancé told her that he wanted his father to check her hymen the night before the wedding. Not only that, but he also wanted all of his male family members to witness the degrading ceremony, as apparently that's the tradition in his family. What the fuck?
Just like mom.
So here's the Reddit post, I guess. My 22-year-old fiance, I'm 25. Wait. Okay, now this is the woman talking. Confusing. My fiance want his father to check my hymen tomorrow night before I get married. My fiancé proposed to me about 8 months ago. We decided on having a relatively small wedding, which is in 2 days. Everything was going great. He seems absolutely perfect, and we are very much in love. I am a virgin, and so is he. Sure he is. He wanted to save it for marriage, and I wasn't fussed, so I agreed to saving it. He has told me earlier that in his family, the father checks the virginity of the bride the night before the wedding. I laughed this off as it seriously sounds like a massive joke. No, turns out he was dead serious. He wants me, the night before, to open my legs up in a small ceremony type thing so his dad can check me while him, his brothers, and uncles can watch so they know I am still pure. I told him fat chance I am going to do that, and he was begging me to go through with it and how important it is for him. He said he knew it was slightly embarrassing for me, but his mom did, and it will prove how much I love him and that I have nothing to hide anyway, as I am still a virgin. I left and he was crying. It was very dramatic, to be honest. I want to call off the whole wedding because of this and never talk to him again, but at the same time, it is only one thing and... Wait, what? But at the same time, it's only one thing, and other than that... we are genuinely perfect for each other, and I don't want to spend my life with anyone else, and it is very important to him and his family. What the frick do? I am currently at my friend's house and might stay here for the night. Tomorrow would be our last day as an unmarried couple, and I am straight up panicking.
You better hope you never rode a horse.
Womp womp. Yeah, I don't know what to say to that. That sounds like, he's perfect for me, but I have to degrade myself in front of his entire male side of his family because of some ritual. That is so bizarre.
My question to her would be, how do you feel about honor killings? Because that's something you're going to need if this is the kind of shit you're talking about.
Yeah. Okay, this one comes from... Do a couple more here. Okay, sure. This one comes from Cynical Kathy. We'll end on this because this is as bizarre as it gets, I think. Utah mother tries to evade police checks by posing as her daughter, but gets arrested. Now, the photo attached to this story, it is necessary that you see this. So I'm going to put the link in the chat. I feel sorry. If that is what your daughter looks like, dear Christ. A 38-year-old Utah...
Oh my God.
Yeah, 38-year-old Utah woman, which I have a hard time believing in the first place, but here we go, was arrested over the weekend after unsuccessfully trying to pass herself off as her own 21-year-old daughter during a traffic stop. Heather Elaine Garcia was detained by deputies from the Davis County Sheriff's Department on early Saturday morning and is now facing a slew of fresh charges, including driving without a license or insurance, drug possession, and giving false information. Garcia is accused of trying to dupe officers who pulled her over on suspicion she had been driving a silver BMW without credentials, according to media outlet KUTV. During a search of the vehicle, Davis County deputies said they discovered a, quote, white powdery substance. During the arrest, the suspect claimed she was named Mercedes and born in 1998. But a records check quickly found the details belonged to her own daughter. It quickly emerged that Garcia also had several outstanding warrants in the state. Surprise, surprise, surprise. The suspect was transported to Davis County Jail. Inmate details available via the jail's website confirmed Garcia was booked shortly after 3 a.m. Bond information was not immediately available. Earlier charges against Garcia included possession or use of a controlled substance, marijuana possession of more than 16 ounces, and driving on a denied license. Yeah, well, there you go. My 21-year-old, I'm 38 years old, and I'm going to make myself look like my 21-year-old daughter and try. She looks like, an extra at a Kiss concert or something.
She looks like a dude dressed up as a man or as a woman.
Well, that's the thing. I thought, for a second, I thought the story was a father dresses up as his daughter, and I'm like, what? No, what? I mean, the way she's done her makeup, she looks kind of cell shaded, like in those video games where everything's got a little black line around.
You're not wrong.
Yeah.
She looks like the bastard child of a mime and a clown.
Mimes, get him! But yeah, so there you go, guys. If you happen to be 38, you're gonna pass yourself off as a 21-year-old. Do some better work than that.
Do better.
I mean, you could. It's not inconceivable. There are people that could pass themselves, but not like that. Thank you, Terry Diamantis. Have some money for the Android Netrunner theme. Well, thank you. I spent like an hour or 2 hours on it. I had to find the actual fonts they used for each little part of the card to make it look like it was legit, because that's just how my artistic OCD was operating at that. And thank you, Sanguine. That looks like someone trying to look like Frankenfurter for the local Rocky Horror Picture Show viewing. It does, doesn't it, a little bit? Yeah, it just looks like bad punk or something. Thank you, Cryptic. It's the Joker's retarded daughter. Actually, the Joker had a daughter. What was her name? Dulia Dent or something? It's some really crazy thing where she was the Joker's daughter, or she was Two-Face's daughter. I forget what it was. But anyway, she looked like a female Joker. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for all the stories. Sorry I can't get to them all, but, we only have so much time because of format. If you want a show without format, watch Monkey in the Morning. Right, Monkey?
What you trying to say?
That you don't have a format for Monkey in the Morning.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. With that, we'll go on to YouTube time. I'll go first. I'm hosting the show. Yay! Satsu, what have you been up to?
They dropped another Monster Hunter video today because the game's like 3 days away, and I just uploaded a reaction video to one of the new monsters they released. They're probably going to be releasing more up until release day. I don't know. It seems like a new reveal every day is kind of the pattern that they're going for. The game comes out on the 6th, so I also spent like 2 hours looking for my capture card today. I don't know where it is, because I wanted to either capture or stream myself playing the Final Fantasy VIII Remake, but I don't know where the fuck my capture card is. It is gone. I have no idea where it is, so yay.
Did you lose it in the move or something?
I'm thinking it got misplaced, or maybe I may have to go down into the basement and check the storage. That's like my last attempt to see if I can find it, but yeah. Gulf City said this is a sexy monster. I mean, it's an awesome one. Sexy is you'd have to go look at it to see, because I wouldn't call it sexy, but some people might find them sexy. Who knows? Depends on what you're into. But yeah, that's pretty much it for me. I made my mom cry too. She watched the video that I made.
Oh.
And she was like, "God damn it, I shouldn't have watched it at work."
Aw.
Yeah, so.
Oh.
But yeah, that was my YouTube stuffs.
And Monkey, what have you been up to?
I did my Monkey in the Morning, and then I came here.
Nothing in between.
Oh man, I didn't do shit. Well, actually, no, I slept is all I did between there.
You're so exciting.
I know, man.
All right, well, then on to the wonderful world of fucketry we go. Let me see here. I've got a thing or three. So I almost decided to do a video on this, except for the fact that I'm pretty sure I would have been nuked by Netflix if I even attempted to. But a trailer for a new documentary was released today. A documentary by Chelsea Handler.
Oh God, that crazy bitch.
And the documentary is called Hello, Privilege. It's me, Chelsea. It is an entire documentary of Chelsea Handler going around apologizing for being white. It is one of the most cringy / hilarious things I've seen, but not hilarious because it's comedy, but just because it's so just self-hatingly awful to watch it, and who she's talking to, and I won't try to do it justice by describing it. It's only a couple minutes long. I'm thinking we should have some kind of watch party when the thing comes out.
How were people's reactions?
Oh, I didn't even look at the comments. I didn't even bother. I figured I would just post it after watching it and see what people say. But no, I honestly think that we should cook up some way where we're all watching this at the same time and streaming a commentary on it.
Oh God!
Because we can all do Netflix off of our computers, I figure. So.
Could you imagine somebody's just like, "Hey, look, I apologize that I'm so much more superior than you are. I'm so sorry."
Yeah, like I say, I'm not going to try to do it justice. Just it's in my Twitter feed, or just look it up on YouTube. It's called "Hello, Privilege. It's me, Chelsea." But yeah, so that happened, and I thought that was kind of funny. Then we talked about Joe Biden. There's a story I posted. I didn't read it because I don't like reading stories about children being hurt, and this is a story about children being hurt, but the individuals involved look like characters out of a horror movie. I tweeted out American Horror Story with the story and the mugshots of these two people. Utah couple arrested for accused of disciplining their daughter by chaining her to the bed and other things, and starving her.
Jesus.
And their daughter's 15 years old. And these two people look like they are rejects from a Night of the Living Dead remake. It just... Yeah, so anyway, I don't know. It's just something that struck me just because of the look of the parents and... Ugh. What else is going on? So a story we didn't get to, but is... we were talking about a little bit last night, was the whole Boris Johnson thing. Well, one of his people defected, and which made it so that there was no longer a majority for Boris Johnson's party, and now they're trying to, well, upset the whole plan of Boris to have a no-deal Brexit. And in response, Boris Johnson is threatening to have an election to try to screw that up, too. So right now, the UK government is... for lack of a better phrase, in chaos over this. And I don't know that it means much to us over here on this side of the pond, but anybody else, I just find it very, very interesting. We could probably talk about it some other time, but that happened. And then there was this. The International Film Critique tweeted this out. #Joker movie is an efficacious and disturbing film that's equally meritorious and tragic. Phoenix's roaring, monstrous performance as the clown prince of crime is so immaculate, so maestroso? I don't see, these are words that I don't use that very often. Maestoso, it's a prodigious accomplishment and marks the apex of his already superlative career. And I said, this tweet uses so many $5 words that I'm going to need that debt relief ASAP, Bernie Sanders. I mean, if you read the thread, it goes on in the thread of it. But that first tweet, I was like, Jesus, somebody really likes their thesaurus. Anyway, That's my fucketry. Satsu, what do you got?
There was a Polygon article or something. Oh, there was a Polygon article I saw on Facebook that said in a recent issue of Captain America, he fought against a militia to protect undocumented immigrants.
Hmm?
And I was just like, that's interesting. And I was looking at the comments on there, and most of them are just people kind of arguing back and forth on whether or not comic books and shit like that have been political at all, which I'm not really sure why that's even a conversation, because if you know anything about comics, you know that they're often political, or at least, covertly political in some instances. But oh my god, like there's like a group of people kind of celebrating it because they're like, yeah, that's fucking awesome. And I'm like, so Captain America is assisting people to illegally enter America. That don't sound right to me. But then people were like, if you want to talk about legality, technically, superheroes are vigilantes, so everything they do is illegal. And I'm like, okay, I can't necessarily say that's not a super valid argument, but I wasn't really talking about legality.
Well, except that Captain America is technically a SHIELD agent, and so he's already kind of endorsed / a part of the U.S. government after a fashion. He still retains the rank of captain, etc., etc. So, now, it's not unheard of for Captain America to go against the grain, because the whole plot of the Civil War story in the comic books was him effectively defying the government who wanted to register superheroes. So it's not out of bounds for him to go against something in his heart of hearts he believes is wrong, but this just seems a bit too much on the nose.
Yeah, I'm just like, that's whatever. I mean, it was a thing that I saw and people were talking about it, so I'm like, that's interesting. Outside of that, I think I saw shit on Twitter, but I don't think I actually engaged in anything today because I had a pretty busy day. Fucking Aaliyah was being a goddamn sweetheart today, man.
Mm-hmm. Goddamn sweetheart.
I'm just like, man, because I was just chillaxing with her, and she's like chilling, like not really whining or crying at all, just chilling. I changed her diaper, and she's super complacent. And after I fed her, I burped her like real quick, and she just sat there and just relaxed and didn't make a fuss or did. I'm like, man, that's what I'm talking about. And then I gave her to Squishy, and she was just like, all right, time to lose my shit. And Squishy's like, oh, you want to freak the fuck out now that it's my shift, huh?
Daddy's girl.
Mm-hmm.
All right, babe. Mob easy. But yeah, it was a good day.
All right. Oh yeah, somebody's reminding me in chat. We got 220 people watching and 120 likes. 100 of you are sitting on the fence. 100 fence sitters. Monkey, they're your people.
Why you hurt me?
Oh yeah.
You know what you said to me?
Yeah.
You know what you said to me?
Yeah. Yeah. You can add it to your fucketry. How about you, Monkey? What's your fucketry for the day?
Well, because of that, I ain't got nothing. No, I'm just fucking.
Oh, okay.
Let's see. No.
Oh, sorry.
I did
Real quick. Sorry, I get to interrupt you for once. Thank you, Ebony Williams. I don't know. Have some money, I guess, because stuff and things, and you're cute. Whatever. Oh, gosh. Thank you,
I love
Ebony.
She's nice to everybody but me, even though she comes and watches me all the time. So I know she still likes me. She just likes to give me shit and on the down low. I see you. I see you. She was chastising me in my chat this morning.
Was she?
I was being bad again.
Hmm.
You know how it happens. I made the mistake of getting in the gun argument again. Yeah, I should know better, but I can't help myself. These people say stupid shit. And this time it started with Beto.
Oh yeah.
Beto, this morning actually is when I first saw this. I was asked. Oh wait, I gotta do it in Beto's voice. Dude, I was asked how I'd address people's fears. That we will take away their assault rifles. Oh man, that one burned. I want to be clear. It's exactly what we're gonna do, man. Americans who own AR-15s and AK-57s, they're gonna have to sell those back to us, man, or we're gonna kill them. I added that last part. Yeah, that's the thing. I want to assure you that yes, we are absolutely going to take away your AR-15s and AK-47s. We're going to buy them back. We're going to buy them back. You're going to buy back, as many people have pointed out, you're going to buy back something you never owned, motherfucker. That's a horrible way to get elected, Beto. Not only is it really fucking stupid, but most Americans are not going to go along with that, even if they don't like guns. Forcibly taking them away from, because they keep having. You ask these people, what are you going to do if they don't sell them back to you? Well, they have to. Oh, okay, well, what if they don't? Well, they have to. Oh my God. It's already illegal to murder. People still do it. You see how people don't always follow the law? What are you going to do about it? Are you going to knock door to door?
It really fucks with me too that is a hurdle they can't seem to get over. Like, they don't seem to understand the fact that people can not do it, considering the fact they're talking about we can't stop people from killing other people.
Right.
So it's just like your whole argument is based on the fact the entire reason you were standing up here yelling about this shit is because people are breaking the law.
Yeah.
You fucking idiot.
Real quick. Thank you, Sanguine. Just eat regenerative dirt and you'll be fine.
Yeah, so in response to this, I did tweet out to CNN, because CNN just had this idiot on 2 days ago. Like, why are you taking him seriously? He ate dirt.
Mm-hmm.
As a grown man, he ate dirt purposefully because it's regenerative dirt. It's going to regenerate him, and it rejuvenized.
Sure, why not?
He rejuvenized it.
He rejuvenized. I've been rejuvenized.
He's been rejuvenized.
That sounds like something you say at like a like it's some kind of like a revival church tent thing. You shall be rejuvenized by the Lord.
Well, I do not understand why Marianne Williamson is treated like the joke that she is for crystals, but he's not for eating regenerative dirt.
Because he raised a lot of money. He raised a lot of money for himself, and which impresses people. And he challenged Ted Cruz and lost. But we don't talk about that part too much.
Wes in chat says, I have to. Really? Yes, he really did this. And I made sure because I reposted the story and got a quote out of it. I made sure to go to a source that even liberals would trust, because of course Fox News had a lot of fun with this. The Washington Examiner had a lot of fun with this, but I had to go. I went and I found the Washington Post story on Beto telling people he ate dirt.
Real quick, thank you, Jedi Ghost Bear. So many tragic boating accidents. Well, we had the one with the fire that just happened. Was there something else that's happened recently?
I don't know about anything else. I know that one.
I'm sure there have been some. I don't know off the top of my head.
And yes, Ebony, that the dirt eating is real. That's not like me fucking around about him being a coke user, which I'm not gonna. I have seen no proof that he's not. How about that? Yes, Beto O'Rourke ate dirt after he lost to Ted Cruz because he was just so down in the dumps. That's a true story. You can look it up. But then I went to sleep. I went to sleep and I woke up. And I have to find it. Where is it at?
You have to find what?
Well, there was a second one from this idiot. But I didn't retweet it. If I don't retweet it, I have to go through my comments to find out where these things are.
Oh no.
He tweeted this one out. 1 month ago, a white nationalist drove 600 miles to terrorize our community of immigrants, but El Paso is stronger than ever. Go ahead and get that before I finish reading.
All right. Thank you, Bear Koch. I will never give up my guns. You'll have to kill me.
And there's a lot of people who feel like that, and that's why I asked the question, what are you going to do if they don't give them back? Are you willing to kill people over them not giving their guns back? Especially guns that were bought legally and that have never been used illegally. But anyway, he goes on to say, we'll never forget the 22 lives we lost that day, and we won't stop fighting until we end an epidemic of gun violence that claims nearly 40,000 lives a year. Yes, 40,000 people die because of guns every year. The vast, overwhelming majority of that is suicide. The overwhelming majority, 2/3 of that is suicide. You have one more.
Thank you, Jared Hart Norris. My son ate glue. Can he be president? Yes.
Depends. Was he a grown man when he did it?
Yeah. Was he a grown man? Is he a natural-born U.S. citizen? Is he at least 35 years old?
Yeah, you've got to be grown when you do something stupid like, Jesus Christ, now you have another one.
Thank you, Jedi Ghost Bear. It's a meme. Oops, I lost my guns in a sunken boat.
Yeah, there's a lot of those too.
Oh, I see. Okay.
I lost it. It got stolen. Yeah.
Right.
Why didn't you report? I didn't think about it. Yeah. Okay. 13,000 people are killed in homicides every year. Mm-hmm. Isn't that enough? Isn't that enough to push your agenda? Why do you have to push it up to include the suicide rate? Do you know how many people hang themselves every year? I looked this up because it's about 10,000 people. We got to get rid of rope now. Because here's the thing. The people, gun makes it easier to commit suicide, but the people who go that far, they'll just find another way. Stop using that as your call to arms, trying to scare people. Because what he's trying to do here, notice what he included. He didn't talk about anybody committing suicide. None of that. It was, somebody came and killed us. 40,000 people a year. No, it's not 40,000. The number's still fucking outrageous. Why isn't 13,000 enough for you? Why do you have to pump it up, you pompous, dirt-eating bitch? But they all do it. They all do. Anybody who wants to do gun control, they will always use that 40,000 number. Because it makes it sound.
Enough, monkey.
What's that?
I said the real numbers are never enough. I'm
of the opinion 13,000 is enough to say, hey, something's wrong. I don't have the answer, but you don't need to pump that number up. And then Alyssa Milano. Alyssa Milano tweeted out that she was going to call Ted Cruz's office to make an appointment to go talk about gun violence in America. And somebody responded to her, don't forget to take your cell phone, which claims the lives of 11 people every day in texting to driving incidents. And she tweeted back, I can play the false equivalent game too. This is why texting while driving is either outlawed or restricted in some places. It's regulated to save lives.
Guns are outlawed or regulated in lots of places, you silly bitch.
Not to mention, it's illegal to murder.
No.
It's already illegal to murder. Murder is regulated in the United States.
No, it's not.
But a whole bunch of people jumped on this and they started using the fallacy. One more motherfucker says the word fallacy to me. I'm just going to start bitch slapping people at random. I swear to God. No, she's right. It's a false equivalency. I'm like, no, it's not. It's really not. It's pointing out the absolute absurd nature of what you guys are talking about. Because let's be honest. At this moment, nobody's talking about getting rid of handguns. Nobody. And the vast majority of these deaths are fucking handguns. Now, you have a couple of people like Biden who's talking about smaller magazine sizes. All right. So at least he's kind of trying to address the actual main issue. We talked about this the other day. The number of homicides with a rifle, which, by the way, includes all of those scary assault rifles, is less than 500 a year. It's actually just barely over 400 a year in the last one we had. Last numbers we have, which I believe is still 2016. It was, I want to say it was like 405, something like that. Mm-hmm. But it's still less than 500. Do you know how many die from handguns? 7,000. But they're all running around Look at this scary gun. We have to get rid of that gun. Oh, sorry, those two guns, the AK and the AR-15. There's another one. I forget what it is. It's the one that's it's basically just a souped up pistol that it looks like an AR-15. But the vast majority of these things are done with your 9mm, your 50 cal, your 45. That's what people are doing or killing people with. But they're going after the thing that's killing one person a day while completely overlooking, things like the texting to driving thing. I haven't heard anybody suggest we need to get rid of phones that can text. I haven't seen anybody go, we need to outlaw cell phones. 11 people a day are dying. 11 times as many as from those scary assault rifles. But hey, that's a fallacy, motherfucker. Don't compare those two things. Don't suggest that I'm actually not interested in saving lives at all because I'm a hypocritical, stupid piece of shit. Don't do that. See, this is why I didn't want to get into the free speech when I already had a rant going. You have another super chat there.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Terry Diamantis. A man with a big wang is rather fallacy.
Well played, sir.
But
that's the other thing I want to get into, this fallacy thing. You know what? Let's say somebody is using a fallacy. Let's say they're using an appeal to authority, because that's what people love. That's an appeal to authority. All right, let's say it is. You just being dismissive of it like that does nothing. Literally nothing. If you want to say that's an appeal to authority, go just because it is how it is and that's the way it's been legal for whatever doesn't mean that's how it should be. There you go. You just had the argument without having to use that stupid fucking word that you heard online from some dumbass who went to college for a year and heard it there. You have another super chat.
yes, thank you. Thank you, Sanguine. 450 people die each year from falling out of their bed in the U.S. We need common sense bed controls.
Yep.
We need bars around all beds so nobody can fall out.
Mattress control for the win, son.
Mattress control. Yeah, I mean, I just want some consistency. Do you care about lives or do you care? Because there are other ones. Like I said, more people are killed with knives than with assault rifles. 3 times as many to be exact. Actually, it's almost 4 times as many with knives. Nothing. No mention of those. And I don't want them to mention those because I don't want them to get to the state of Britain where we have to have, rounded knives for everything we try to do. But how about some consistency? Because we got to save lives. Do you care about saving lives or do you just hate that gun? Pick one. Because it can't be both. Because if it's both, you don't give a fuck about those rifles. You care about those knives.
Well, yeah, and that was one of the points that I was trying to make because... Oh, go ahead.
Real quick, yeah. Thank you, Lady Gopher. I'm not driving anymore, so I can drop Lemon's money.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
Thank you for
that. Yeah, when they were, because the people were saying like the common denominator is the AR-15. That's what everybody's using to shoot with, and I'm like, okay, so we ban them. Then the next best gun becomes the common denominator. Like, yeah, that's how it works. And I don't know if they like genuinely don't know that, or they're just like, well, yeah, obviously. So once that happens, they won't be like, okay, well, now we got to get rid of this one, and then the next one. Okay, we got to get rid of this one until we're down to BB guns, and they're like, okay, well, now we got to get rid of that one. And it's just like, is that the plan, or do you genuinely think that once you get rid of this one gun, that the next fucking best thing won't become the thing that people use?
Well, again, the number of shooting deaths with rifles, that's going to go up because of Los Angeles. When we get to Las Vegas. When we get the 2017 number, that's going to pump up a little bit. The thing is, though, with mass shootings and stuff, even with mass shootings, the majority of those are still committed with fucking handguns. They just only care when it's like an AR-15.
Yeah,
it's the only time they care because that's what the narrative is right now, and it's fucking insane, and I'm getting tired of it, and I just can't keep my fucking mouth closed, and I end up getting into these fucking arguments with morons on Twitter,
which is a complete alien experience for you.
I know. I don't know how to deal with it. I'm learning.
Are you?
No, I'm not.
How long does it take you to learn something?
Well, I'm a slow learner, man.
Yeah, I've noticed.
Don't make fun of people with disabilities, Scribe.
Why not?
Oh, because they're going to get you.
Yeah, you big.
How? They can't even catch up to me.
Well, they can't even figure
Yeah.
anything out, so you'll be fine.
Oh, that you proved my point. All right. Anything else, Monkey?
No, that's all I had because, like I said, I wasn't up very long. That was all within an hour.
All right. Well, how about we do a Mad Lib? So, chat, this is your opportunity to interact with the show. Not that you aren't already doing so through your comments, your stories, and your questions upcoming, but hey, why not one more way? I've gotten some feedback on Mad Lib. Some people hate them. Some people really hate them.
Yeah, I told you that all the time.
I know. I don't know if I should stop them, though, because some people really like them. So. Yeah, it's one of those things.
Can't please everyone.
Let me
Please
see if I can
yourself.
find one that's got a decent number on it. Okay, we'll do this one. So, chat, this is what I need from you. Please put each one of your suggestions for these 3 things into a separate chat message, and I'll get to them when we get down the list. So I need from you an adverb, an exclamation, and a famous person. An adverb, an exclamation, and a famous person. So, Satsu, I need a room. It just says room, so a type of room, I guess.
The champagne room.
Champagne room. All right. Monkey, I need a food plural.
Hot dogs.
Satsu, I need a favorite TV show. Oh, real quick. Thank you, Bear Koch. Legally owned guns stop crime and save lives. They can.
Legally used guns.
Oh, sorry.
I would say.
Yeah, there you go. Legally used guns. Sorry. Satsu, favorite TV show.
I don't know. The fucking Supernatural.
That's your favorite TV show out of all the anime?
I just named a TV show.
All right. Supernatural. Monkey, a verb ending with ing.
Humping.
Satsu, an adjective, your favorite.
Yeah, I love adjectives. How about poisoned?
Poisoned? Okay. Monkey, a male friend.
Bubba.
You actually know Bubba?
No, I don't.
Oh. Satsu, a number larger than 1.
2.
There you go. Monkey, a teacher.
Mrs. Balllicker.
Is that actually a name of someone you know by any chance?
Yes, Mrs. Balllicker.
I
She
don't know.
pronounced it Balliker, but we
I
knew
don't
what
know. Okay.
She was my favorite teacher.
Yeah, I bet she was. Satsu, an
She
adjective.
taught sex ed.
I'm sure she did. Satsu, I need an adjective. In her car in the parking lot after school.
Yes.
So
you know her.
Yeah, I wish.
Let's see here. Let's do aggravated.
Aggravated. Monkey, I need a number larger than 1.
422.
All right. Satsu, I need a singular noun.
How about a wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube?
Wacky waving arm inflatable tube man. Okay. Monkey, I need an animal. It's odd that I'm asking, but
Mrs. Balllicker's daughter. No,
whoa.
Wow.
Let's go with an elephant.
And lastly, Satsu, I need a past tense verb.
Past tense verb.
Yes.
Murdered.
All right, now chat. Rolling up looking for my first adverb. Ebony Williams says sexily. Sexily. And then I need an exclamation. Who's got one for me? Kathy Collins says tomfoolery. Tomfoolery. And lastly, a famous person. Iris Creed said Bruce Lee. And here we go. This one is called What Are Friends For? All right, here we go. Last night, as I sat in the champagne room eating hot dogs and watching Supernatural, the telephone rang. When I picked it up, I heard a humping sound. It was my poisoned friend Bubba. He told me that he couldn't solve the 2 problems that Mrs. Balllicker had assigned for homework. I'm pretty aggravated in math, so it took me only 422 minutes to figure out the answers. Quote, these problems are easy, I told him. Use your wacky waving arm inflatable tube man. It's broken, he said. I think my elephant murdered over it.
Jesus.
Then you'll have to use your fingers, I suggested sexily.
Oh, wow.
Tomfoolery! You're a big help. The next time I need advice, I'll call Bruce Lee, he shouted. I don't know why Bubba was so mad. Did he want me to give him the answers? The end. You'll just have to use your fingers, I suggested sexily. That's probably the best part.
Oh, shit.
That's not disturbing at all.
Yeah, Mrs. Balllicker.
Balllicker.
I would use my wacky waving arm inflatable tube man, but my elephant murdered over it. All right, well, guys, thank you for your participation into the wonderful world of Mad Libs. We'll move on now to question time. So, chat, if you have questions, comments, concerns, conspiracy theories, complaints, if you have something more interesting that happened in your day than what happened in Monkey's day, put in the chat now. If you have questions for us directly, please put plenty of chat marks after those. If you have statements for us to consider, please put plenty of statement marks after those. Let's see. Now, I know I ask this every week, and I'm always wrong in saying and in bothering to ask, but you guys aren't gaming tonight, right? Or
are we?
Oh my god.
I don't know.
We had mentioned it yesterday, so I don't know, are we?
Flip a coin? I don't know.
We'll see. I'm trying to regain consciousness here.
Okay, well, there may be a game stream after this, guys, over on 2 Cents Plus, so just wait a little bit. Let's see, check your logic. If you've ever heard of a YouTuber called The Archfiend, he already did a video perfectly analyzing gun control 7 years ago. Would you take a look? I may. I don't know. Tweet out a link. I'll probably forget by tomorrow morning. Iris Creed says, Scribe, can you give a basic rundown of how to play Netrunner? I can do better than that. I can give you the link to a very excellent tutorial, or a couple of tutorials. One is from the company directly, and the other one is from a gaming group that did a very good and entertaining little breakdown. So here's the official one from the company. It's all animated and gives you all the breakdowns of the different steps and all that fun stuff. And then this is one from Team Covenant. Oh, that one might have a timestamp on it. I didn't mean to put in there. So they might have to rewind it a little bit. But yeah, that one also has a couple of guys on there that really know the game and explain how to play it very well and show some example matches they run against each other. Let's see. Joe W. BDSM president, but not daddy? I don't believe you, Scribe. I don't really do the daddy thing in the sense of like, the sort of age play deal. I mean, complicated. I don't mind if somebody wants me or wants to call me daddy like that, but it's not one of my personal like things. Like I'm neutral on the subject. But
real quick, guys, if you have the Epic Store and you give a shit, Celeste and Inside are free. So if you're interested in those games,
okay,
check it out.
Mata Winter says, Lords of the Night, is Alyssa Milano running for president? She might be jockeying for some kind of political position somewhere. Either
I'm convinced she is.
You think an actual political position, or that she's just trying to become like a lobbyist or something?
I think she's aiming for like the House or something.
I thought I saw something that said Michelle Obama was running for president. Like she just put a team together for the 2020 election or some shit.
Not that I've seen so far. That's been a rumor for a while. And everything I've seen from her is no, we're not doing that.
OK Aslan, I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. Speaking of famous people, are you aware of the Britney Spears drama? Which one? She's done nothing but most of her career. I don't know what the latest one is, if there's something new going. Let's see. Cynical Lindsay. I normally don't like to bring personal stuff up, but my grandpa passed away recently. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Could you guys keep my family in your thoughts? Well, sure. I'm sorry for your loss, Lindsay.
Indeed. Yeah, I'm so sorry to hear that.
I've had some grandparents die in my day, and it's never pleasant, especially when they were kind to you. My grandfathers were probably the nicest, bravest, nicest people I knew. They're both war veterans and gentle as all hell. Let's see. Kathy Collins, is Netrunner where the design idea came from for the cards? The cards you designed look absolutely brilliant. Job well done. Yeah, well, so those the templates for the cards, everything but the text and the numbers is blank templates you can find just by doing a Google search. All the text, all the font, the numbers, the moving around, and all that stuff. I did all that by hand, quote unquote, in Photoshop. So yeah, so I mean, for all intents and purposes, you could conceivably actually use these as cards. Although I have no idea if the abilities I gave each one are at all balanced or useful in any way in the grand scheme of the mechanics, because it's there's some nuances to the mechanics of that game that I don't claim to be an expert on. Let's see, what did I miss because the chat jumped? Joys of Sorrow. What about a PLR-16? I don't know what is that a type of gun or something? I have no idea.
I have no idea.
Mono Winter, Lords of the Night, Scribe Daddy win? Oh boy. Don't know what I'm supposed to do with that. Jared Hart Norris, tell me more about the card game, please. Okay, well, aside from the links I sent. So, essentially, if you think of it as one player is the corporation, the game is all set in this sort of cyberpunk universe. The one player plays as the corporation, and their job is to defend their information, which is all on their cards. And so what they do is each stack you have in your little set, from the where you discard your cards to what's in your hand to your deck that you're drawing cards from, in the world of the game, those are actually computer servers that hold various types of information depending on the circumstances. And so your job as the corporation is to create these servers and then defend them with basically defense programs, which are other special cards that you use to defend your server. And then the other player is the runner or the hacker. And then their job is to try to defeat the defenses of each of these servers to gain access to your data banks, essentially, and try to search for your secret undercover agendas and information that they can then use to effectively destroy or expose the corporation for all the evil things that they're doing. So you have this very asymmetrical back and forth play of bluffing and coercion and trying to balance things out. It's a very, very interesting game, much different than many other card games I've seen played before. If you look it up, you watch the little tutorials and things, you'll see that the game, the license for the game started with Wizards of the Coast, and they licensed the mechanics off. It was designed by the same guy who designed Magic the Gathering, the initial mechanics, but they licensed the mechanics off to Fantasy Flight Games, and they're the ones that had this setting already in place through some other games of theirs called the Android universe, and so they used elements of that to make up the cards. Well, recently, last year, Wizards of the Coast, all of a sudden, right after Fantasy Flight had just released a new set of expansions for the cards, pulled the license, just kind of out of the blue, and everybody was like, "What the fuck? Is this community that plays this game is like world spanning? They still hold tournaments and all this other crazy stuff." Anyway, my thought was at the time is like, "Oh, I bet you Wizards of the Coast is pulling their license from Fantasy Flight so that they can hold it up on offer to CD Projekt Red, because they knew that Cyberpunk 2077 was coming out. So I bet they were pulling it from Fantasy Flight as a show of good faith to CD Projekt Red, that if they bought the license to Netrunner, they could then make a Cyberpunk 2077 version of Netrunner, because there's a class in Cyberpunk 2077 called Netrunner, and that's partially inspired the mechanics of this game to begin with. But oddly enough, CD Projekt Red did not, and again, this is just my speculation, but they did come up with a card game, a physical card game to go aside from their video game, but they didn't go with Wizards of the Coast. They went with some other company that escapes me right now, and they haven't said much about how their Cyberpunk game works, but what little they've described of it sounds a little to me, but I guess we'll see, because they're keeping it under wraps. Anyway, there's my nerdery on that. Moving back up, because a lot of things have been posted since then. Ebony Williams says, "Lords." I like that now when they say lords. My lord.
Mm-hmm.
My dad will be 60 next month. What is a practical PG-rated gift for a Marine veteran/preacher? Well, I guess my first question would be, does he have any hobbies? And if he does, what's something you can get for him? If you're trying to do like a joke gift for him, I don't know. It all depends on the personality of the person. Oh, you guys have any ideas?
I have.
A nice framed family portrait kind of thing. Like if you have a favorite picture or something, have it blown up, and it's got to be one you own, by the way, in order to do that. But have it blown up, or a picture of mom and dad when they were younger. Have it blown up and put it in a nice little frame.
60, huh? Let's see, 60 going back. I don't know, what's something from his youth that he likes? Like when my dad had his birthday recently, he likes listening to the old radio shows like he used to listen to when he was a kid. And so I got him a framed print of an old The Shadow radio show little poster. And he didn't know it was coming, of course, because it was a complete sideways thing. But he loved it. It's like, oh yeah, because he loves all that kind of stuff. So I guess it would depend on what he likes, and if there's something you can get that sort of exemplifies that. I don't know. Kathy Collins, do you think they will ever make breakdancing an Olympic sport? No. I don't think they will. Isn't ballroom dancing an Olympic sport in some way, shape, or form? Isn't there like a dancing competition somewhere? It's not like on the mat.
I don't know.
I thought there might be. I don't know. I don't know the Olympics that well. But I would be surprised. I think the closest you're going to get is like the floor demonstrations with like the gymnasts and such. Maybe at the X Games. Do they still do the X Games?
I can't remember. I don't know. I haven't seen anything about it in a while.
Pyrus Creed. Scribe, have you seen / played the Game of Thrones and Legend of the Five Rings LCGs, as they're both made by Fantasy Flight Games? I know of them. I've seen them played a little bit. I don't know much about them. I know that the one video I sent out, the Team Covenant guys, they had a tutorial about how to play Legends of the Five Rings. Legends of the Five Rings was a tabletop role-playing game before it was a card game, and I had friends who played that quite a bit. I remember being pulled into playing one game of that many, many years ago, but I barely remember anything about it because it was a one-night deal, and I never really got into it. Kathy Collins, what is your favorite Olympic sport to watch, and what is your least favorite, or one you think the games could do without? My favorite is curling. Curling is the greatest Olympic sport ever. Watching foreign women sliding giant rocks down ice like a chess game, which is insane when you think about the angle they're actually working with versus the angle you're looking at it above, but also because they're yipping at each other and using little brooms to speed up and slow down the rock as it slides down. It's the most bizarre, interesting game to watch. But as far as the worst one I want to watch, the one I want to watch, I don't know, probably the luge, just because. Oh no, sorry, not the luge. I'm thinking of. Oh, the bobsledding, the single guy bobsledding. Is that the luge? Maybe that is the luge.
Yeah, because isn't bobsled 2-man at least?
Right. Okay, so the luge, because years ago, I saw a video of a guy on the luge losing control and slamming into a metal pole and dying. It was completely uncensored video, and I didn't like somebody was showing it to me, and I didn't know what it was until after I'd seen it. And for whatever reason, it kind of stuck with me. It's like I don't even want to risk seeing that again because it was so brutal. So I guess, yeah, curling is my favorite. The luge is my least. You guys have an opinion on Olympic sports?
I just don't watch them anymore. Mm-hmm. I always like the gymnasts, both male and female, because the athleticism, when you get to like the bars and stuff, the dancing part, I'm like, but like the athleticism it takes for that shit is amazing. But yeah, I don't watch or get all, what's the word I'm looking for? Patriotic and shit over it. Mm-hmm. I'm just like, I don't care.
Yeah, I think I agree that the gymnasts are usually pretty entertaining, and I've actually sat and watched ice skating for a significant period of time just because that shit I could never imagine doing. Because I'm just
sure ice skating's kind of cool too.
Yeah, I'm just like, holy fuck, man! I could never imagine going as fast, like, and the spinning shit. My brain still can't figure that shit out. Like, I did see an explanation of it when they were talking about like the pick that comes on the ice skates that controls your spins or your
pick.
And I'm just like, what the fuck? What?
I said toe pick.
Yeah, that's just crazy. I mean, I admire anybody who can do those type of, extreme sports and stuff like that or whatever, but I never really find myself watching the Olympics all that much either.
Let's see. Lords of the Night says Mono Winter, would you try melon vodka? I think I've had it before mixed in something, so I guess the answer is yes for me.
Melon. I used to love peach vodka. I used to drink that shit way too much.
Monkey.
I mean, I'd try it.
I forgot, guys. If you are interested in playing Netrunner, well, now the game's been discontinued. They set up, some fans of it set up an absolutely free site where you can play it with all the cards available. Plus, there's even a group that is creating expansion cards that are tournament friendly that they've added in there. So the community is still keeping this thing going, which is nuts. But anyway, it's an online, free-to-play thing. You can build your own deck out of the entire library of cards and play against other people. You can watch other matches. So, there you go. You don't have to spend any money on it, is the thing, if you don't want it. I have too many cards for my own good, but... let's see. Joys of Sorrow. Scribe, your thoughts on the 2 new Star Wars ships revealed lately, the Ogner-class Star Destroyer and Starhawk? I haven't seen these, so I don't even know what to comment on. I'm a fan of the classic stuff that was created both by the original movies and the ships that were given sort of a shape and life because of the West End games. Role-playing books out of the 90s. because a lot of those books like created the look of things that were only described in books and such, or in novels, I should say. And so those are the ships I'm familiar with. Everything else that I've seen so far just looks like a larger version of a thing that already existed, which seems to be the one answer to how you innovate in Star Wars. Let's take what already exists and just make it a bigger version of it. Like, oh, we're going to make a really evil Super Star Destroyer, so it's going to be a really, really big triangle that's like darker in color and some red on it. Now it's the First Order Super Duper Star Destroyer. Okay, great. Let's see. Kathy Collins, Ranting Monkey. What's the name of that coffee that was mentioned during Monkey in the Morning that donates a part of its profits to veterans? Maybe that's a good gift idea for Ebony Williams' grandpa.
Oh, what was that called? Shit.
It's called shit? That's a horrible name.
Combat something coffee?
That coffee.
Yeah, it's a really neat concept. It's a group of veterans got together and they made this coffee brand, and part of the proceeds of every sale go to veterans. Black Rifle, that's it. Thank you, Faithless.
Okay.
Black Rifle Coffee. And yeah, it goes to veterans groups. So yeah, really cool on them for doing so.
Let's see. Dirty Nerd. Yes, Toe Pick, one of the best movies ever. If you, and that's not the name, Toe Pick's not the name of the movie, but if you do know the name of the movie being referred to, put in the chat now and you're a super nerd. Jack Gunsky says a thing.
Cutting edge, by the way.
Oh, you cheater. All right, fine. Let's see. What did I miss here? Joys of Sorrow said, these ships are from the new Aftermath books and the Star Wars Armada game by FFG. I had friends who did the Star Wars Armada game, and that was a really interesting game. I didn't really get into it because it's all like measurements and stuff, but I mean, watching it, I always like watching people play games who are really into them more than playing them myself, because I see people that really care about it, and that is a very intricate game. You don't, it's like watching somebody do miniatures or something. If you don't get your angles just right, or you don't pick the right card, everything kind of goes sideways. So that's kind of interesting. And some of the models are super detailed, but also really expensive. But I haven't seen any of the super new ships yet, because I haven't paid, honestly, I haven't paid that much attention to the new trilogy, or the details therein, I should say, because I just, you know, like so many other people, and just not enthused, not excited enough to care. Mata Winter says, so curling makes Scribe's pants happy?
Yep, gives them the pants happy.
It depends. I mean, you know, and depends on what kind of yips or screams they're doing at each other, the women and stuff. I mean, men play the game too, but I generally watch the women's competition.
Scribe, did you make that pun on purpose?
What pun? What pun are you referring to?
When he said, do you have a pants happy, and then you said it depends.
No, I did not make that pun on purpose, because I don't usually associate diapers with happiness. Do you have babies on the brain by any chance?
Probably.
Okay. Yeah, no, I don't go into diaper play. Thank you, Sets. Appreciate you giving me the opportunity to clear that up.
Good.
Pyrus Creed, what will happen if Rise of Skywalker bombs? Nothing.
Nothing.
Disney will produce Star Wars material in one way, shape, or form forever. If Rise of Skywalker bombs, there will be okay, here's what is going to happen, because they've already said this. There is going to be a period of rest until they do another feature-length movie of Star Wars of some kind or another. They will be making Star Wars on TV. Okay, you have The Mandalorian, which is the first TV show. If that TV show takes off like a rocket, and by all looks of it, and given the fact that Jon Favreau is making it and is a real big fan of Star Wars, and he's a really good director and really loves the material, if The Mandalorian takes off, they will continue to do TV shows. The Clone Wars Season 7 is coming out relatively soon. So there will not stop being Star Wars stuff. Feature-length films may take a breather. They will probably wait a while And then I can only hope, at least as far as material is concerned, they do some Old Republic stuff, Knights of the Old Republic kind of thing. And they stick to the kind of established story. I mean, the stories established prior to Disney weren't popular for no reason, Disney. I mean, really, build off of what people already like. Isn't that what you should be doing anyway? Instead of fucking around with retconning everything and deleting everybody's loved history of the thing. It's just...
No, Scribe, because you had your chance to enjoy it, and now it's somebody else's turn.
Yeah.
You need to let it go and give it away to the next generation.
Jared Hartnor, Scribe, did you ever play the Star Wars Monopoly game on PC way back in the day? The character actions were fully animated, very cool. I never played the PC version. I've got about 2 or 3 different versions of Star Wars Monopoly in my closet that I've been gifted over the years that I've never really played. I've got one that's like the Clone Wars version. I've got one that's like the classic version, so you got the little metal Darth Vader and everything. But I haven't played Monopoly in any way, shape, or form in many, many years, and I don't think I've actually cracked open the boxes for those things. I think ever, except for that one to look at the miniatures. So, but no, I never played the PC version. Cynical Lindsay says, not gonna lie, The Mandalorian looks really good. I hope it's amazing. I do too, because I really would like some Star Wars I can like, and that stuff's... Yeah?
Can we address that for a second? It looks really good, but we didn't learn anything about it. It's just... Yeah, they didn't talk hardly at all. You know nothing about this story, and I know. What's that?
I don't need it to. That's just like a trailer telling everything you need to know about the movie before you see it. It's just like...
You don't need to know everything about it. How about anything about it?
Well, it's about a Mandalorian bounty hunter. It apparently is not going to have to do with anything Jedi or anything, and it's got some really good actors in it, and it's done by Jon Favreau. So all these things combined to me make it interesting enough to at least give Disney Plus a month's worth of my time. That's about it. I mean, if it's worth my investment to continue having Disney Plus when it comes out, then I'll continue. But I'm at least going to give it a month to see what it has. And you know, like I say, I don't know. It could suck. I got to watch the first 2 episodes and say, "Holy shit, this is worse than Iron Fist." You know, I've been fooled before. You know, but I'm not getting my hopes too far up. But there's a lot of reasons to make me think it's set in the era I prefer stories from Star Wars to be in. It's done by somebody who's done amazing work in genre stuff and has a real respect for the lore that he's messing with, let's say. It's got some really good actors in it. The little bits and pieces I've seen of the previews look amazing, at least visually. So, like I say, it could suck, could be good. My hopes are high, I guess.
I know, and that I see a lot of people with their hopes high, and I'm still like, this is modern Star Wars, yo.
Well, yeah,
my hopes were high when I went and saw Phantom Menace. That looked cool as shit.
Mm-hmm.
And then I saw it, and I'm like, oh, damn.
Well, like I say, I always go into these things with my hopes high because you could get the diamond, you could get the Empire Strikes Back. You know, it's not impossible. And this is a completely different... We haven't seen a Star Wars dramatic TV series before, so it's a completely new frontier for the IP. And honestly, the Clone Wars series, even though it took a season or 2 to get cooking, once it got cooking, it was really good. It was really good. And Rebels, too, after a season or 2, it got really, really interesting. So Star Wars can be a really good, dramatic character study sort of situation if you have it in the right hands. And like I say, Jon Favreau is a mark in favor. We'll see. Pirates Creed, what do you think about them doing a what-if Star Wars series like if Anakin didn't... No, stay to Marvel with that. I don't want... I mean, if you want to do like an Elseworld Star Wars thing, they had that comic book series where they did like Star Wars. I forget what it was called, but it was like, what if Luke had died on the Cloud City? What if Leia had to be trained as the last Jedi and all these other? They were interesting comic books. They were kind of fun things to do, or but I wouldn't bother making a show about it. Joys of Sorrow says, so far, Filoni hasn't let me down. Dave Filoni, man, they should have let him direct one of these Star Wars movies or write it. I mean, that guy knows those characters. When George Lucas wasn't writing him to do particular things like that Godzilla episode fucking thing on Clone Wars, Dave Filoni, he's the reason that the final fight between Obi-Wan and Darth Maul was perfect. Absolutely perfect. I mean, you can argue whether or not it was a good idea to bring Darth Maul back. I could be on either side of that argument, but at least for what it was, that last fight, that final fight between him and Obi-Wan was right out of a samurai movie and was perfect. Let's see. What else? I think I probably did. Worse than Iron Fist. Harsh, says Jared. Sitting Lindsay. Oof, and Iron Fist was pretty bad. Hey, I always keep my fingers crossed for these things, but it always could turn out to be Iron Fist. I guess that's sort of my metric now. But with that, guys, we're at the top of the hour, and thus the end of the show. Everybody, thank you so much for coming out and joining us tonight, as you always do. We really do appreciate it. Is there going to be a gaming stream tonight, guys?
Monkey, if I don't, are you going to stream tonight?
Oh, yeah. If you're not doing it, I am.
All right. Well, it's going to be on Monkey's channel tonight because I'm going to fucking pass out.
Okay. Yeah, Satsu needs some daddy rest. And I don't mean daddy like that, you gross people. But go over to Monkey's gaming channel, and you can watch him. You're going to do some No Man's Sky?
Yep.
All right, No Man's Sky over on Monkey's channel. And remember, guys, also, tomorrow night, per usual, we will be on Monkey's channel for this show. But again, everybody, thank you for joining us. You are the best audience in the world. Moderators, thank you for keeping an eye on things, even though everyone here is the best behaved audience in the world. Everyone who donated, thank you so much for your generosity. I say it every time, but I'll never stop saying it. I really do appreciate it. I'm humbled by your contributions. But with that, guys, that's going to do it. So, Monkey, Satsu, thank you for joining me as always.
Indeed.
Everyone, your lives make us sad, and we will see you tomorrow.
Bye, guys.
Bye. So, for whatever reason, and the fact that I was reading it, I don't actually have... I have a different book beside me tonight. It's actually a true crime book called The Last Stone by Mark Bowden. So, just for the heck of it, we'll flip to a random page in this. And, of course it would be. Okay. Today's secret word is kidnapping. Because that's appropriate.
Oh, yeah.